Elm Street was under the chill of early winter, with the sky dotted with stars that shone like distant diamonds. At the corner of Elm Street stood Manny's Diner, a modest establishment with a warm and inviting glow. In a booth by the window 15-year-old Ethan sat, with a lost expression, drawing patterns on the fogged glass with his finger. His brown hair was slightly messy, and the sleeves of his hoodie hung loosely over his arms. He had a habit of coming to Manny's almost every night after school, seeking the comfort of a warm meal and the familiar faces that frequented the diner. Lately things at home had been harder than usual. His mother worked long shifts at the nearby hospital, leaving him on his own most nights. His father had left years ago, a painful absence that lingered like an open wound. Ethan had only vague memories of his father, but whenever he saw his classmates going home with their dads, a silent longing stirred within him. But it wasn't just the absence of a father figure that troubled him. Ethan's life was a constant struggle marked by hardships and sacrifices. His mother's modest income barely sustained the family. Money was tight, and Ethan's wishes for new clothes or a smartphone felt more like distant dreams than achievable goals. However, in that small corner of the world, amidst Manny's laughter and Rosa's comforting voice, Ethan could forget his worries, even if just for a brief moment. The diner was busy, as usual, that night. A group of retirees sat near the jukebox, laughing over old stories, while a young couple in the far corner shared a milkshake and exchanged shy glances. Rosa, the diner's waitress, moved skillfully between tables, her radiant smile and kind words bringing warmth to everyone she met. Behind the counter, Manny, with his thick mustache and robust demeanor, flipped pancakes with the precision of someone who had been doing it for decades. It was a night like any other on Elm Street, but no one had any idea what was about to happen. The first sign of something unusual came in the form of headlights. A sleek black sedan appeared out of nowhere, slowly pulling up in front of the diner. Its polished surface gleamed under the streetlights, the kind of car that seemed far too extravagant for a quiet street like Elm. Inside the diner a brief hush fell over the room. The sudden silence was palpable as people exchanged curious glances, trying to figure out who might have arrived in such a car. "Is it someone famous?" whispered one of the retirees, craning his neck to look out the window. The sound of a car door opening broke the silence, followed by the soft click of heels on the pavement. A figure emerged from the car, elegant and commanding, with deliberate but graceful movements. She wore a navy blue fitted coat, a silk scarf loosely wrapped around her neck, and leather gloves that added a touch of understated sophistication. The woman seemed to float as she walked, her presence effortlessly commanding attention. Without saying a word, she stepped into the warm light spilling from the diner's doorway, and everything became clear. There was no doubt it was the princess, radiating her royal charm. But what was she doing in such a modest restaurant? A collective gasp filled the room. The clinking of plates stopped, conversations faltered, and even the jukebox seemed to fall silent. The bell above the diner's door jingled as she entered, her gaze sweeping the room with the calm confidence of someone accustomed to attention. But there was no arrogance in her demeanor, no air of superiority. Her smile was warm and genuine, as if she had simply walked into an old friend's home. "Good evening," she said, her voice carrying a quiet authority, but also a gentleness that immediately put everyone at ease. For a moment no one moved. It was Rosa, bustling between tables with her usual energy, who recovered first. She nearly dropped a tray of coffee cups in surprise, but quickly composed herself and rushed forward. "Your Highness!" Rosa exclaimed, her voice a mixture of awe and excitement. Anne extended her gloved hand, offering a firm but warm handshake. "It's a pleasure to meet you," she said kindly. "I was passing through and heard this is the heart of the community. I thought I'd stop by." Manny, equally stunned, hurried out from behind the counter, nervously wiping his hands on his apron. "Your Highness, welcome to Manny's," he said, his voice trembling slightly. Anne smiled, her eyes sparkling with genuine affection. "The honor is mine," she replied in a light tone. "I've heard the pancakes here are exceptional. I thought I'd see for myself if the rumors are true." Her presence was magnetic not because she demanded it, but because of the quiet dignity she exuded. She didn't enter with ostentation. Instead, she moved through the room as if she belonged there like any other diner patron. Anne sat at the counter, and Manny gestured to Rosa, who quickly fetched a menu to offer the royal guest. But before Rosa could hand it over, Anne raised her hand, signaling her to stop. "That won't be necessary," she said, her voice soft but firm. "I'll let you choose something for me, and if I may, I'd like to discreetly cover the cost of everyone's meals tonight." Rosa froze, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Your Highness, that's incredibly generous—" But Anne interrupted her gently. "Consider it a small gesture of gratitude for everything places like this represent. You've created something special here, let me give back in my own way.